When I was a kid, I had an invisibility cloak. I took it with me everywhere I went. It was my security blanket. When I was at school, I could quietly watch the other kids and figure out what I should be wearing, what music I should be listening to, what boys I should like. And it was through that experience that I learned what I thought was a definition of power. I learned that power meant being loud. Power meant making other people small so that you could feel bigger. Power meant power over, and I wanted nothing to do with that. So I stayed small. I kept that invisibility cloak with me throughout my childhood and into my early career. And I started to see those same dynamics in our communities. I became really passionate about social justice, and I saw those same dynamics of power over. I saw Black men in our communities disproportionately incarcerated. I saw Muslim Americans profiled in the wake of 9/11, and I saw transgender women excluded from women-only spaces. And through much of that, unfortunately, I stayed quiet because I thought, what does power look like? How can I stand up and rise against this? I don't want to emulate the power that I've seen, so what might that look like for me? It wasn't until my second week of grad school for social work. I was in a class of about 100 people, and it was a sexual orientation sensitivity training. And I thought, today is my day. This is going to be amazing. I was early in my coming out, just a few close friends knew, but I thought, this is the day where my community is going to wrap around me, and it's going to be awesome. So I sat in the front of the class that day because I knew if I sat toward the front, I'd be more likely to participate. There were about 100 students in the class. And as the training started, I started to hear things like, oh, it just kind of weirds me out when I see two men holding hands. Or, if I had a lesbian client, I think I'd have to refer her out. I just don't think I'd be comfortable. So I'm sitting there thinking, oh, crap, this is not the day I expected. This is not how this was supposed to go. But then I hear from the back of the room, one of my classmates stand up, and she said, the only way we're going to get over our prejudices is for us to know people who are gay and lesbian. So I want all the LGBT people to stand up. And then she sat down. So she sits down, and I'm sitting for a moment, and I think, okay, there are 100 of us. They say we're 10%, so okay, so probably 10 of us are going to stand up. I'm like, all right, let's do this. This is, if not now, then when? So I stood up, trying to just confidently look ahead. Remember, I'm in the front row. And I just kind of casually turned behind me. And there's one other guy standing up in the back of the room. And we make eye contact awkwardly. There's kind of an awkward smattering of applause for us. And then we sit down. And I don't think I had ever felt so alone in my entire life. I just started sobbing in my seat and just didn't know what to do. And then one of my classmates, Rebecca Garcia, put her hand on my back as if to say, I see you, and I'm with you. And in that moment, that was all it took to just move me forward into the next step. And together, Rebecca and I and many of our classmates worked to revamp diversity and inclusion in our program and beyond. But in that moment, I started to realize that power is actually something very different than I had believed my life. Power is actually standing with each other. Letting each other know, I see you and I'm with you, is the most profound act that we can take.